They say money can't buy happiness, but money in the right amount buys something far more dangerous: silence and history. We look at the world today and see presidents, prime ministers, and generals. We believe they make the decisions. But behind the velvet curtains, long before you were born, the map of the modern world had already been drawn. Not by politicians, but by silent architects. Men like John D. Rockefeller, the Rothschild dynasty, and J.P. Morgan. They didn't just amass fortunes that would make today's billionaires look poor. They redefined what power means. They built the railways that transport our food, the banks that hold our debts, and the fuel that moves our wars. But there's a chapter in the ledgers they tried to hide, a miscalculation. In trying to buy the world, they paid a price no gold can cover. They built empires of steel and oil, but in the process dismantled their own souls. This is the story of how one conquers the world, and what happens when the world conquers you. It all begins with a man who saw the world not as a place to live, but as an equation to solve. John D. Rockefeller, a man of rigid faith, absolute silence, and almost inhuman discipline. While others sought oil hoping to get rich by luck, Rockefeller knew a universal truth. The money isn't in the discovery, it's in the control. He created Standard Oil. It wasn't just a company. It was the greatest monopoly machine humanity had ever seen. By age 40, he controlled 90% of America's oil. He could decide who would have light in their homes and who would be in the dark. He crushed competitors, not with physical violence, but with mathematical efficiency. He once said, "Competition is a sin." But here begins the failure in the gears. The man who controlled the world's energy couldn't digest a simple meal. The constant pressure of maintaining the empire, the fear of losing control, rotted his body from the inside out. He lost all his body hair. His stomach rejected meat. The richest man in history lived on crackers and milk. He built a fortress of gold, but became a prisoner within it. The public hated him. He needed to walk with armed guards. His children grew up under the shadow of a giant, crushed by the weight of a surname that meant power, but rarely meant love. Rockefeller proved that it's possible to own everything, and yet not be able to enjoy anything. While Rockefeller dominated industry in America, in Europe, a family understood something even more subtle. Whoever controls the debt controls the king, the Rothschild dynasty. 5 sons sent to 5 European capitals. They created the first human internet in history, a postal system so fast that they knew the results of wars before the monarchs themselves. Legend has it, and legend often reveals psychological truth, that Nathan Rothschild knew of Napoleon's defeat at Waterloo a day before the entire English government. What did he do? He didn't celebrate. He sold. He panicked the market, making everyone believe England had lost. When British stock prices plummeted to near zero, he bought everything. In a single day, the family's fortune multiplied incalculably. They didn't just make money, they bought the economy of the most powerful empire on earth. From that day on, governments didn't ask the people for taxes to wage wars. They asked the Rothschilds for loans. But what was the fatal error? Forced invisibility. To maintain such power, they had to withdraw from the real world. Marriages between cousins to not dilute the fortune. An isolated life in golden castles, surrounded by paranoia. They became myths, targets of all conspiracy theories, eternally blamed for all the world's ills, whether true or not. The price of absolute control is absolute solitude. If Rockefeller was the oil and Rothschild was the blood, J.P. Morgan was the hammer. He wasn't as rich as the other two, but he had something they didn't: pure authority. They say looking into J.P. Morgan's eyes was like looking into the headlights of an oncoming locomotive. He didn't build industries, he organized them. He hated chaos. In 1907, the American economy collapsed. There was no central bank. There was no one to save the country, except Morgan. He locked New York's greatest bankers in his private library, locked the door, and put the key in his pocket. He said, "Nobody leaves here until you agree to save the country." They obeyed. Morgan saved America alone. But this act of supreme power was also his condemnation. The government realized that no man should have so much power. This triggered the creation of systems to dismantle individual power. He died leaving a legacy of order, but his son, J.P. Morgan Jr., saw the world change. Power moved from the hands of men with names and faces to faceless institutions, corporations, funds. Power became cold, bureaucratic, and soulless. Look at the descendants of these dynasties today. Many live under the overwhelming weight of expectations they can never fulfill. Diluted fortunes, lost purposes. The urge to build empires often creates children incapable of maintaining them. Fatal error wasn't making money. The error was believing they could control the chaos of human existence through accumulation. Rockefeller wanted to live to 100. He died at 97, a fragile body. Rothschild wanted peace. His name is synonymous with intrigue. Morgan wanted order. His legacy financed the most chaotic wars of the 20th century. They tried to be gods, but they forgot that gods have no family, no friends, and no peace. By focusing exclusively on expanding their external domains, they left their internal domains, their homes, their health, their spirits unprotected. What can we learn from the masters of the universe? That ambition is a necessary fuel, but without a moral brake, it ignites the engine. True wealth is not the ability to buy nations. It is the ability to lay your head on the pillow at night knowing that what you built did not cost you who you are. History remembers their names, yes, but did they like the story they lived? I am Caminos Ilimitados, and here we explore the unlimited paths of truth. Like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel for more journeys into the depths of history and humanity.